You know, sometimes you must wonder, I know I do, if the fix is in, because it seems so obvious, right? Beyond the mainstream media pulling for specific political candidates, it really seems to me now more and more they actually try to manipulate the actual outcome. And nowhere is this more prevalent than with the jobs report. The same report that's been overstated month after month after month has been led by a surge in government jobs. In the last report, more than 600,000 Americans dropped out of the labor force. On top of that, more than 600,000 fewer people were working, but every single headline, every single talking head called the report strong. That news helped to fuel a jump in the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Survey. There's been no shortage, folks, by the way, of articles touting a possible soft landing. In fact, look at that spike. It's amazing. But those kind of spikes have been associated with more recessions than not, right? So the media is working nonstop to get the public to feel better. Also by chastising them for not feeling great in the first place. They've been browbeating the heck out of people for not feeling good. I want to bring a district media group president, Beverly Hallberg, because Beverly, you're my favorite person when it comes to messaging. Trillions of dollars poured into our economy. It's been shifting around. Here's the thing, though. It feels like the media is always trying to help the White House. In this case, it's been humiliating people who took the stimulus money, went out and spent it, which they wanted them to do, but they've maxed out their credit cards. Their savings rate are at historic lows. What are people supposed to do? They don't feel good about their conditions.
And this has been the narrative, not just from the media, but also from Joe Biden himself. And that is you, the voter, you, the American, are the problem. We even saw it last week when Donald Trump came out first in Iowa. He said this has always been us versus extreme MAGA Republicans. And so there is this tendency now to attack the American people. And it's really quite shocking. Now, I'm not surprised that the media is following along because they are in lockstep with this administration. There is a reason why when it comes to many in the media, the trust level of these institutions is under 20%. But this does seem to be the tactic that the media are following along with the Biden administration. It's to attack you. It's not going to work because at the end of the day, people understand things cost more and it is hard to make ends meet. It's almost adding insult to injury to put the onus on them.
Yeah, and then when you do get the occasional uptick, they're like shocked. Whoa, people feel better. Yeah, you only browbeat them every single day, right? I do want to ask about the Federal Reserve because they have stepped up their efforts in recent years to be more transparent. But I got to be honest with this, stoking more confusion, even more distrust. If Powell brought you in to talk to the team, okay, how do we articulate something to the media, to the masses rather? What would you tell them about this current approach? Because one day one Fed official says something, the next day another one says something, and I think it's added to the confusion of the markets.
Well, first of all, I would give him some credit for trying to be transparent and talk to reporters, talk to the American people, because there's always a risk when you stand behind the mic. So I give him credit for that. And he also tries to use more layman's terms when he's speaking, not just economic terms so that everybody can understand. But here is the problem, and this goes to what we were just saying about the media. He sounds in lockstep with the president far too often, talking about how good the economy is, predicting that things are going to get even better. But again, that doesn't match what Main Street is feeling. He's speaking more to Wall Street, not Main Street. So I don't think it works with the American people and actually makes the institution look political.
You know, there's an old saying, at least my mom used to tell me, that sticks and stones can break your bones, but words will never hurt you. But we know that words, in fact, do hurt, especially when they come from the president of the United States. And they can also help. And I bring this up because on November 9th, 2016, the stock market rallied under President-elect Trump. But that evening, that night before, it was nuts. You remember, right? And I want to read a sentence. This is from an article in The Guardian about that session. Traders said Trump's conciliatory victory speech, which eschewed the crude, divisive, and misogynist language used throughout the campaign, gave investors hope that the president-elect would not immediately embark on the most drastic policies he had pledged during a bitter election race. I like this term, conciliatory Trump. He's reemerged. I mean, is this the one that you want to see out there for the duration of the campaign?
Well, I have said this numerous times on your show, Charles, and that is you can be a tough talker without insulting people. So I hope this is the Trump that's here to stay. But I think we know him pretty well at this point. It's very hard for him to not develop nicknames for people and disparage people. So my hope is that he can talk about policies more than attacking people personally. And I would even say this. He's bringing Republicans over to his side that ran against him. I would like him to actually talk well of fellow Republicans, even if they don't agree on every single area. Find out where you can agree, because we need a strong Republican Party to fix this country. There's so much work ahead. So can Donald Trump be loyal to people, even if he thinks they're not being totally loyal to him? We'll have to see.
I don't know. You know what? I got to be honest. As a New Yorker, the answer is no. We're natural counterpunchers, right?
I think you're right, Charles.
But if you punch us, if you don't punch us, we'll never punch you. And I think we are going to see more of the conciliatory Trump. But I have to admit, I also like some of the nicknames. Beverly's been too long. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you a lot this year, though. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
All right. Now, my next guest makes